Good afternoon to everyone. So we are the researcher and our study is linguistic factors associated to spoken language comprehension of early elementary students. So we as the researcher, we are wants to discuss the section 1, the profiling and the framework. So I am Niza Anthony Maisali and
I am Johnny Andrade de la Cruz, and we are the researcher for today.
okay, in section 1, profiling and data framework. So our participant is actually 5-year-old kid named Ranch Kazmir Al Said, currently studying at Adventist Hospital. His parents are both Muslims, and actually this child don't have a foreign background, so he is actually fluent in English. So his mother and his father are both professional, and he have a young brother named Ranch Kazmir Al-Sahib. And next is the introductions.
In our section 2, introduction, it's stated here that communication is the process of how humans communicate with each other. It is a way of conveying message from a speaker to its listener. Many of us communicate with people every day, whether in person or the countless digital platforms available to us. But how much of our communication researches the intended audience or person the way we hope? Effective communication requires us to be clear and complete in what we are trying to express. Effective communication is the process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. When we communicate effectively, both the sender or receiver feel satisfied. For communication to be effective, it must be clear, correct, complete, concise, and compassionate. So, when we communicate to other people, we need to be clear to the message that we are trying to convey to them. We need to be concise. We need to be completed. We need our message to be completed so that they can understand what we are saying to them. This 5 C's is these 5 C's was supported by staff 2023, which he said here that these 5 C's help us to how we are going to communicate effectively to other people. Next, it's also said here that how the children respond to elders and their peers. Children are very interactive and active speakers. They have a lot of stories to tell. However, children practice and should possess respect for someone they're talking with, especially those older than them. In considering their attitudes and behavior, it took a lot of patience because their parents are not fluent in English language proficiency, and they do not have foreign background. In short, their parents want their children to become fluent in English using digital platforms. Different kinds of digital platforms, for example, social media, Facebook, YouTube. Their parents let them watch what they wanted to watch or what they wanted to learn. However, they allow their kids to explore social media platforms like watching YouTube for kids and other applications that are related to the English application. Somehow, kids have great advantage in English proficiency, but it has also disadvantage in terms of being born with the inequality of food in the English language as their mother tongue. Therefore, they were both born Filipino and they didn't know how to speak Tagalog, which is why they love socializing with their peers. Let's proceed to the section 3.
In the section 3, the review-related literature. So here, the selected children of different ages interact a different opinion So the researcher and the interactant or the participants are having a communications or having a interactions towards within each other. And then here we all know that review-related literature, it is actually studying existing review studies. And here in the review-related literature also it's supported by the theories. And then in our study, it is supported by the theory of behaviorism, which is the proponent here is B.F. Skinner. Okay, and it stated that the children is imitating the language itself, whether in the social media or in their environment. And then also we create or we make elements of communications found in conversations of interactants. So it shows that one who started and ended the conversation mostly, who interact the most, who is using foul words, and lastly, the one who's shouting and using high or low tone among the interactants. So that is the table 1. And then the table 2 shows the analysis of conversations of the participant or social elements rather. So in social elements, here we have the analysis of communications elements based on the recorded conversations of the participant. According to behaviorism theory of B.F. Skinner, children learn by imitating what they see and hear, sometimes from the influence of the social media or the people around them. So the 5-year-old participants gives a high tone or a moody most of the time, while the researchers are calm because of their environment, because of the environment itself. And then in the social elements, it stated the foul words or the profanity, the shouting, and the calm. And these participants or the interactants is his age is 5-year-old, and he never used a profanity or foul word. He never shouting, and he always calm. And in the section 5, the methodology. In the methodology, the researcher gathering the information about the linguistic factors. And then this analysis seeks information about the English proficiency. Since this child is very fluent in English language, but somehow these children is speak ambiguous words, which is they didn't know or he didn't know the exact meaning. Okay? He imitating the language itself. So the data were collected on the 20th day of April 2024. The researchers conducted the data at least 2.5 hours. So via the audio recording and the documentation, and then the participant and one of the member of the researchers were probably cousin, and I'm preparing for the one of the researchers. And the collected data will be kept confidential, and then we actually respect this information. And in analyzing the data, we use questions to identify the language factors. And the number 1, who frequently starts and ends the conversations, who asks questions more, who uses foul words, who interrupts to give an opinion, what is the tone of interactant. So, to make it clear in this explanation, so since this child is probably imitating, and then the word he actually used in everyday conversation, as I've mentioned to you, it is ambiguous sometimes, and then it makes a unique, but then sometimes it makes you confused about something because it has the tone, which is make you feel like, oh, this child is very amazing or very fluent in English, but then it is actually behind that situation. He is probably after let's say for example after he watched the movie And then the word like Poseidon, it's actually different pronunciations with the Philippine English, like Poseidon or in Philippine Poseidon, definitely. But in his pronunciation is actually Poseidon, so it makes unique. But then he actually didn't know what's Poseidon or who's Poseidon itself. Okay, next we are going to talk about the section 5 actual case analysis by Ms. Dela Cruz.
So in our actual case analysis, we just stated here what happened on the day that we conduct this actual case analysis. This actual case analysis happened on the 28th day of April, 2024, Sunday in the afternoon, exactly 3 p.m. And we ended our actual case analysis at exactly 5 p.m. on their household. So our participants is Nisa and today's cousin, which is a 5-year-old kid named Rich Kashmir Al-Saed, who is currently studying at academic school. We asked him different kind of questions like, what's your name? What's your favorite movie? And more. While we were asking our participants, we actually noticed that he was having a hard time using the word I when he was telling us about himself. Like for example, he is introducing himself to us. He is having a hard time using I. Like for example, Rich Kashmir. He didn't use I am Rich Kashmir. He just said I Rich Kashmir. I love this, or I love watching TV. He just said I love this. He didn't know how to use making word when he was telling about himself, because he just imitating what he sees or hear in the movie that he was watching. While we are asking him different questions, he also adds additional information like what he wants to become someday, and additional for that we didn't use different kind of hard materials like books or any kind of reading materials. He has a old phone that he uses while we are having a actual case analysis where he is watching movies while we are talking to him. So our study lasted over 2 hours. Started just what like I have said earlier. It started exactly 3 p.m. in the afternoon and ended up in the 5 p.m. in the afternoon. We conducted this actual case analysis at Barangay San Pedro, Palikasan Homes, near Westcom.
And then partner, our recommendation, of course. First, my recommendation is actually, as a parent, so we live in a digital world. So, in short, we actually live in modern situations. So, the young children nowadays get exposed to different gadgets such as laptops, computers, cell phones. So probably the young children adapt or acquire a language in social media or in their environment. As you can see, their parents nowadays, as like our studies prove that the behaviorism is still is still alive for everybody, especially to the young adolescents. And then my advice to the parents, especially nowadays, it's hard to to accept our children are exposed in different gadgets because they can be addicting something, or they can be notice or something like adopting a foul words, profanity, and whatsoever. So we all know that social media or through the use of technology can have a pros and cons to our lives. But then we actually aware as a parents, we have to guide our child to be able to use a gadgets. It is actually limited, and then sometimes we actually more focusing on the guidance itself. And then and my thoughts is actually it is important that our children is more focusing on the books, on the discovery or explorations about books or even the reading materials to help them identify the things or the words more easily than they can expose into different tactics or strategies they can hear or they can watch in the internet. So what's your thoughts about this kind of
My recommendation about the parents, so using social media or phone isn't bad if they guide them, they guide their children every time to time. Like for example, they have limited time while they're using their phone. It has, for example, in the free day, it is a Monday to Friday is their school day where they need to focus on the studies on their studies only. And then their free day is Saturday where they need or they can use phone freely. But it has limited time where they can actually what do you call that? They can actually use their phone freely, but it has limited time where they need to focus on the studies more. Like for example, an hour using phone and then books and then phone and then books or playing with their parents or their little brother. Like where this year he has a little brother where he is more focused on social media platforms. So his parents needs to guide him if when or where to use the phone or how many hours he can use his phone so that he will not be able to introduce himself to the gadgets every day. He is not just depending on the social media or on the movies that he is watching. He can learn an English language on himself by just reading books or by just watching movies that is guided by his parents. And that's all.
That's all for today, and I hope that we have a very broad knowledge about our topic. Thank you.
Tapos hindi pala na-play?